Please be advised that everything in my video is purely for entertainment purposes. These are purely my thoughts and opinions and are subjective. I must advise you to please do your own research. All media users found on the public domain and of fair use and fair dealings.
Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. So lots of stuff going on as always. The 2nd of June was quite, well, there were two things that went on the 2nd of June. Firstly, we had Catherine and William doing a Zoom call to Australia, but it's to thank a first responder day, which is obviously very important. It's very much like in the UK, I guess we have clap for carers. It's just reminding everyone that we are aware of there are so many people in the world that have jobs that are trying to protect us. The world is a crazy place at the moment. I can't, and I'm not going into obviously all of the awful stuff that is happening on the news all around the world, but my channel is not about that. My channel is about taking your mind off of all of the nastiness in the world for the next 10 to 20 minutes, so I'll see how I do.
We must mention Australia's volunteer first responders, who choose to put their lives on hold to support their communities at times of need. And we should not forget that these incredible people are supported every day by their families and friends.
Today on Australia's inaugural Thank a First Responder Day, you all deserve our huge thanks.
Time and time again, when Australia has needed protecting, you have answered that call. You should be immensely proud of everything you do, and we send our very best wishes to you all and to your families.
Thank you.
Admittedly, I was expecting a counter sort of Sussex video to pop up, you know, just because they seem to do that, don't they? When a royal has done a video, especially William and Catherine, they then tend to do their own sort of shabby one. Well, Harry's captive videos from the basement in LA. But I don't think even they knew to stay quiet on this one, because they kind of offended Australia, didn't they? You remember when Australia very kindly offered a lovely gesture of naming one of their fire planes after Archie, and they flatly refused because Archie hadn't yet entered society. But obviously Harry and Meghan, as we can see from here, she changed her mind pretty quickly. But again, I suppose with Meghan, as it seems to be, sadly, it seems to be what's in it for her in the long run. So back off of Meghan, the 2nd of June also represented a very important historical day. In 1953, it was the Queen's actual coronation. There was some amazing pictures that got released again. I do love looking at these, the pomp, the circumstance, absolutely glorious pictures. The crowds, it must have been absolutely a phenomenal day. And we have a very, very, very young looking Prince Philip here. You can tell that he was quite a handsome man in his younger days. And we have an incredibly unhappy Prince Charles, which just does really make me chuckle, because it doesn't matter if you're royal, it doesn't matter if you're rich and poor. If you are a child and you are bored, you are not afraid to let the world know. So the title of this video, well, Tittle, Tattle, Tatler. Tatler, the high society magazine that I don't think is going to be high society for that long. It's the sort of magazine that, you know, graces the coffee tables of, well, high society, I guess. Obviously not the sort of thing, it's up there with Vogue for me, just out of my, nothing really in there interesting that I would particularly want to read about. But what's happened is, obviously, for those of you who've seen it, it's pretty huge. Tatler wrote to the palace and or phoned them, the press office, or whoever it was that they spoke to, and they said that we would like to do an article on Catherine, and we're going to call it Catherine the Great. And I personally think it kind of went like this. Excuse me, is that Kensington press office? Yes, it is. We'd really like to run a story on Catherine. We'd like to talk about, you know, how she got to where she is today, all of the, you know, the guidance that her mother gave her, being a mother to 3 young children who, you know, are being brought up as royalty while she herself is still, you know, trying to learn the ropes very quickly and is learning how to be queen one day. We thought we'd call the article Catherine the Great. Can we have the heads up on that? Well, yes, that sounds like quite a nice article. Of course you can. Let's go ahead. Well, Tatler didn't quite go along with that, did they? They said that basically Carol Middleton is a wannabe kind of snob. She doesn't belong in their particular class. William's absolutely obsessed with Carol Middleton. She's the mother that he never had, completely offensive to William, Diana, and to Carol Middleton. They went on to say that the pressures of Catherine's life, she has become so thin, she's like Diana, basically hinting at eating disorder. They also went on to say something about, oh, that was it. Of course they brought up, since Harry and Meghan have, you know, exited, that Catherine's been hit with all this extra workload and she can't cope with it. She's angry at them because they've left such a void. I'll get that one in a minute. Apparently, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge are also angry at Harry and Meghan because they wanted to spend as much time bringing their children up themselves as possible, and Harry and Meghan, because of their departure, yet again have thrown the children under a bus. It was nothing but a mean and spiteful article, if I'm honest, and it was put together with the title like a sarcastic Mean Girls sort of thing. Catherine the Great, now I'm going to tear her to shreds. My breakdown of it is they've always been unkind about Carol Middleton. Some people, some snobs, some high society, they're never going to accept the Middletons just because they were working class, because Carol Middleton was an air stewardess. They made their millions themselves. Do you know what I mean? It didn't come from inheritance. It didn't come from rich parents. It didn't come from lineage. It didn't come from being bestowed from family generations. They are a couple to be proud of, if anything, and they gave their children the best education that they could because they earned the money that they could. They've taken swipes because of the way that Catherine and Pippa have married. And I'm sorry, but of course they're going to marry the sort of people that they did. They put them in the top schools. They're going to hang around with socialites and people of those social sets and stuff like that. Catherine's hardly going to be, and Pippa are going to be going to the particular schools and universities they went to, marry Bob the Builder, Derek the plumber from down the pub, because they didn't socialise in those particular circles. It's just spiteful and it's nasty, and I'm sure they're going to take a swipe when James Middleton gets married. As for William liking Carol Middleton, she's a mother she never had, that's just offensive. I believe that William and Carol Middleton have a lovely relationship. I believe that he has a lovely relationship with all of the Middletons because they gave him a sense of normality. In a world, you know, he grew up as a royal. Whilst I do believe that Diana definitely was one of the first royals to relax the protocols and the strictness around children, William and Harry were the first two royal children that actually were allowed to go to school. Obviously something that Catherine and William have followed on with because the rest of them were homeschooled. But you imagine the sort of lifestyle that not just William has with them, but George, Louis and Charlotte. They probably get given things and get up to stuff and little bits and bobs that maybe they're not allowed to when they're in the palace behind the Queen's walls in front of Grandma, you know, on best behaviour. I think that the Middletons have given William and the children, and when it would be the great-grandchildren, I think they've just given them an extra kind of bit to make them more down to earth, make them more modern royals and make them more likeable and approachable and down to earth. Then we have the implying about Catherine having an eating disorder. It's very offensive to body shame any woman. As you can tell by Carol Middleton's figure, Pippa Middleton, Catherine, they've all been very, very athletic. I think that the girls have been playing tennis and Lord knows how many sports. You always saw Catherine, she was always part of some sort of sports team. Yes, there has been times where I think that she has got a little bit too thin, but that generally, she's thin as a whippet anyway, but there is no way with an eating disorder that, you know, she's got amazing hair. You look at her, she's toned, she's muscular, she doesn't have a lot of body fat on her, but you know, fair play to her. She looks healthy, her sister looks healthy, and I just thought it was just a really nasty swipe, completely unnecessary. And to be honest with you, with articles like this that have come out, and articles that have come out like this all since, what would we say, around about 2017 for some reason, no wonder Catherine's lost weight at times. There's been some nasty rumours put out there that I won't even put in my videos because we know that they were just rumours and they were started by a certain person's camp and it was just spiteful. Plus the fact she's running around after 3 young children, and I can imagine that is very, very hard work. I've got friends that have got 1 child and are absolutely exhausted. They also said in the article, right, this is the most laughable one, that Catherine's angry at the extra workload that she's got because of Meghan's absence. And I was like, what? Catherine, extra workload because of Harry and Meghan's absence. I think Harry and Meghan, it was recorded that they work for something like 82 days, and I say work as in a very, very loose term, during the 2 years that they were, you know, full-time working royals. There was an awful lot of time spent not working, and for them to suddenly, for Catherine to be so stressed that she's filling the void. What void? I'm not being funny. I probably have got a bigger pothole in the road outside my house than what those two would have left. This article went for everything. It went for Catherine being a mother. It went for Catherine's job, Catherine working, Catherine's weight, not just her weight. They also, you know, made jibes for Pippa and Carol Middleton. I mean, if anyone can defend that article, there's something wrong with you. They literally fully attacked her. But then what I found was rather odd on it was the fact that they bigged up Meghan in it. So this article was supposed to be Catherine the Great. They've completely slagged her down to the ground, pushed her off the pedestal, jumped on her face a few times. Yet here they were saying, you know, it's because of Meghan's left. And I thought, oh, that's really rather odd. But as Harry Markle blog, and if you don't know who this is, I'm not affiliated in any way with it, it's just a fantastic blog. She's completely bang on it all the time. And of course, so what was the link, do you think, that possibly could be from this article and Meghan? So the writer of this really scathing article is an Anna Pasternak. She works for Tatler. She's really, really good friends with someone else that used to work at Tatler, and they're still apparently very, very close. Her name is Vanessa Maroney. Vanessa Maroney, if you know that name, sounds very familiar, doesn't it? That's because she's sister-in-law of Jessica. Yeah, I know, the shock, the links, right? Jessica who is best friends with who? Meghan. Oh dear, you're telling me that the writer of this article has links to Meghan? Dear me, what a shocker. This is no different to Lainey Gossip, who is another American. I think she's got her own blog and she chats on TV and stuff. She used to work with Ben Maroney, I believe it is. So they're all linked, that little spidery web, the Anna's Marcus Anderson, the Maroneys, it's Anna Pasternak. If Meghan even has had nothing to do with this, it doesn't look good. They're not being particularly good friends if Meghan has had nothing to do with this, because everything is going to point at Meghan and it doesn't look good. The biggest issue that you've got there is Meghan wanted to leave the royals. They left. They got Megxit. They've left. All right, they didn't get all of the terms that they wanted, but they left. They're now living in LA. And all they've done since they've left is moan. You wanted to leave, you didn't like it, fine, fair enough, you left. It's because they're still trying to make sure the connections are in the newspapers every day that they were part of the royal family, because they know it's their only cash cow. Now, I'm not saying Meghan has set her friends to do up any of these articles, but it certainly looks like she's decided to send the attack dogs out, because Catherine and William have been getting amazing press. The whole royal family have been doing really good, apart from a certain someone who's he's officially struck off the list. But their popularity has obviously always been good, but it's really, really shot up because they've really, really stepped up with everything that's been going on. They've really shown themselves to be a very, very caring couple. So I think this has put someone in a little bit of a temper tantrum rage. You know, her panties are in a bit of a bunch, and as I said, she's sent out the flying monkeys. It wouldn't be the first time, would it? Because it's actually in the impending court case that's coming up. She got caught out for harassing or pressing or pushing for Meghan's old agent. I think it's Gina Newthorpe Crown. I'm so terrible with names. But basically, Meghan's ex-agent was given an interview. They caught wind of it, so Meghan got Jessica to put pressure on her to put her in a favourable light to change it. I don't believe that Gina did, but this is one of the things that's been as I said, it's been put into the court case. Lady Colleen Campbell, whose book's coming out, she's actually come forward and said that she got pressured into changing the narrative of her book. But with Lady C, you don't mess with Lady C. She's having none of that. So you can see here that it wouldn't be the first time that Meghan has got her friends or her attack dogs or her witches of Eastwick or whatever you want to call them to stir that little cauldron pot and to basically to do something like this. I'm not saying that Anna Pasternak has been set up or she's got anything to do with this, but the links are undeniable and it doesn't look good. So one of the things that makes this all the more kind of like shocking, I suppose, is naturally Catherine and William are not impressed. They're not happy at all. So they have fired a warning shot to Tatler. I don't know if they've threatened to take them to court over it, but I think that basically Terma said, you take it down and we want an apology, because I mean it was awful. The things that they said were completely unfair and it was a very, very nasty article, so I don't blame them for doing that. But now we've got through sources, through leaks, through Meghan's friends, that Meghan is really, really upset. She feels that she has got a slap in the face because the palace has defended the couple. I'm pretty certain I saw several articles of the palace defending Meghan, but she'll forget all of that because she's so busy being the victim. Now, there were several articles that came out about Meghan, and I can admit myself, they were ridiculous, but the palace did defend her. So it's being manipulated and twisted around, but Meghan definitely was defended. Meghan said that basically she got crucified and all Catherine's had to do is click her fingers. It's not true. Catherine got crucified for years and years and years. Meghan just can't seem to see that she's the only one that's ever had to put up with grief. Camilla had it, the York sisters had it, Fergie had it. You know, they've all literally gone through it. The difference is with Catherine, she kept her head down. It's amazing, isn't it, that Catherine gets attacked and Meghan is still trying to play the victim here. She's trying to twist it round. Only a true narcissistic person could actually try and make this about them. There is a very big difference between these two. Catherine got attacked for years and years and she kept her head down. She listened when she got criticised. She learned when the Queen apparently picked her up on stuff. You know, she had stuff where like hemlines had blown up and various other things where maybe she hadn't followed protocol. She ignored the bad press that she was getting. She ignored it. She didn't like threaten to take them to court or anything. She gave years and years of her life taking flack when 99% of it was completely undeserved, but she never complained. She earned respect from everyone. She didn't demand it. She became loved because she was likeable, because she's warm, because she's kind. She's never played the victim card. She's never publicly attacked her own family. She's never attacked her husband's family. She has never attacked friends or had arguments in the media with her friends. She's followed royal protocols. She's learnt to be a royal because she wanted to be, because she loves William, because she gave up her normal life for Queen and for duty. Now that is the reason why she is Catherine the Great. Tatler, at the very least, got the title of the story correct and the picture. The problem is, with Tatler, they have literally just put themselves down to a low-grade magazine, haven't they? They were once a high society tabletop magazine, and now they might as well just put themselves on those low-level trash bag magazines where all they do is attack other people. And the biggest thing that makes me smile about all this, that makes me smug about this, is one day Catherine will be Queen Consort. One day in my lifetime, we will be seeing William and Catherine waving from Buckingham Palace, where they've just had their coronation, waving to the crowds and the people cheering. And I would absolutely love to see a photograph of Meghan's face that day. Not just Meghan, but all of the people that have really attacked Catherine and attacked her family, these magazines and things like that. You know, at the end of the day, she's going to be Queen Consort. She's proved everyone wrong. She kept her head down. She's been a wonderful addition to the royal family. She will continue to be a wonderful addition to the royal family. So suck on those eggs. Anyway, guys, I'll be back with you really soon. I've got a Harry story coming out, so bear with me. Back with you in the next 48 hours. See you soon. Bye.
If you like my video, please remember to like and subscribe. Please, angry typists, you will be blocked, so save your fingers the time. If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love, Taz.